Hey guys, I have a confession to make. I probably missed out on one of the greatest once in a lifetime opportunities ever. So last night I came home from a lovely dinner with my friends. I get to my apartment building, I'm listening to some music, some old 2000 bangers. I'm really feeling myself. I'm grooving. I'm dancing. My body is dancing. I'm grooving. The elevator doors open, and I dance on into the lift, and I'm startled. There's two other people in the lift. I'm like, oh, sorry. I'm like, bonsoir. Because here in France, you always greet people when you're within their vicinity. So we're bonsoir, And I'm there and I'm still listening to my music. And they start talking to me. I mean, they've probably been talking to me the whole time. And I'm like, okay. I take my AirPods out. I'm like, pardon? I didn't hear what you said. Anyways, and they talk again. And I'm like, okay, I just have to take this bullet. And I'm like, sorry, look, I speak English. I hate saying that to people here because I'm like, oh, I really need to anyways. So I pulled that one out, and then we ended up having this beautiful conversation, and I was telling them about me dancing and being in Lyon, and I'm from Australia, and we had this it was such a lovely little conversation. We had I got out of because I'm only on the first floor, and I got out and we were still talking, and then they just throw just a little cherry on top. Oh, yeah, we're from the top floor, we just haven't seen you before, we're on the 14th floor, at the very top in the penthouse. And I was like, oh my goodness. Now when I tell you this, this building that we are in is probably one of the most prestigious buildings in Lyon, in the new Lyon area. We're in a new area, and basically is built by this famous French architect, and it's incredible. It's all new, which is the penthouse is literally insane here. They have a pool, it's huge as well. There are 3 entrances at the bottom of the building, 3 different entrances to get into the building, all on the same side. That's how big this the building is. It's a big square. And I know you say 14 levels, that's not very high, but trust me, in Lyon it's high. They probably have a view of all of Lyon. And you know what they say to me? Oh, do you want to have a drink with us? Come up to the top, have a drink with us. Yeah, we have some people over, there's some girls there, and around your age, and they speak English and stuff like this. And I was like, oh, that sounds so lovely, but my boyfriend's waiting for me, I should probably go to bed, And they're oh no, he can come. And I was like, oh, no, it's okay, maybe another time, thank you so much. I was really grateful. And I pinched myself after that. I literally hated myself after that. I can't believe I turned down one of the greatest opportunities of my life. Me and my boyfriend have been literally longing to meet the person who lives on the top level. Where we always make the joke oh, are they the ones on the top level? They have a special key, only they can get to the top level. It's very prestige. Anyways, it's crazy. And we're always who is it? Oh no, they're on 13. Okay, and we always are oh, maybe one day we're gonna meet them, we're gonna have a drink with them at the top of the building, and become friends with these billionaires. And literally the opportunity was handed to me straight in front of me, and I chose not to take it. I can't believe I did that. I literally am thinking about it now, and I'm like, why did I say no? I guess usually I say no when someone asks me to come to their house or have a drink with me. I always say no because it's my first instinct is stranger danger. Like, I guess so, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I usually am just like, no, like that's so nice, but like, no. More just like, I just want to be home, and I just want to, you know, like I've had a big day. I just want to have a shower, get warm and cozy in bed and fall asleep. You know, like that's my goal in life. No, it's not. Maybe, who knows? Anyways, I literally came in, I saw that my boyfriend was awake still, and I was like, babe, we've just missed like the greatest opportunity of our life. And yeah, anyways, I've just been pinching myself ever since. Like, I told my mom about it this morning. Like, I can't believe I said no. Like, of course, like any other person, say no. But like the billionaires at the very top of the building, of like the most prestigious building in Lyon, like I'm sure, like, and they were interested as well in like what I was doing, like as a dancer and stuff. Like, who knows, maybe they had connections, like all these like things going in my mind, like all the things that could have happened last night, but I just said no. And they probably think I'm a bitch because I said no, and I hope they don't think that. So we're just hoping tonight after dinner, because we're going out for dinner, because it's my boyfriend's birthday, and we're going out for dinner, and hopefully tonight we like bump into them in the lift. I will keep you guys updated on that. Fingers crossed. I have a good feeling about this, actually. I feel like we're gonna be besties. Like, I can just sense it. Like, I have a good vibe, you know. Also, he had a really great fashion. Like, it was good fashion. Like, he had a really clean, like trimmed beard, and yeah, was giving like humble, rich vibes. Love. So as I was saying, it's my boyfriend's birthday, and in France, fun fact, they really do not celebrate birthdays. I guess in Australia when you get older it kind of gets like that as well, but like, I mean, in France, like they do not do much. Like maybe when you're a child they, you know, give you some presents and whatever, and like, I mean, if you have like a richer family, maybe like it's more elaborate, I don't know. But from what I've seen and heard, it's not really a big thing. In fact, like I've heard, which, yeah, I guess it depends where you are, but like sometimes when it's your birthday and usually you go for like a drink or something with people, that's usually how it goes, and like you buy them a drink. What? Like, it's my birthday. You should be buying me a drink. No. Like, if you go out with your work colleagues, you buy them a drink because you're like happy that they're celebrating with you, and like, yeah, it's really weird. Anyways, they also, yeah, they just don't do much. There's no like present gifting. There's no like, it's just like, let's grab a drink. Like maybe let's have dinner, but very rarely. Anyways, today I thought I'd make it a little bit special for him, and I gave him a bit of an Australian styled birthday morning. And I was like last night when I was very tired, I was blowing all the balloons up, my little lungs, and I filled the place with all these colorful balloons. And oh my gosh, literally, so like in Australia, there are like aisles, like there's even whole stores for like birthdays and like decorations for like celebrations and party stuff. There's like whole stores for that. There's like, and then in the grocery store or in like a normal store like Kmart or Big W or anywhere, there's like at least an aisle, maybe 2 aisles for like party stuff, dress ups, decorations, birthdays, cards, all of that, you know. There's a lot. Here in France, there's like one like of those like spinny stack things of cards, and there's like not even a wall of decorations. Like, I'm literally telling you, it was like a meter long, and it was like just a meter long of the shelf was party stuff, decorations, balloons. There was some party plates and some serviettes that said happy birthday. There was like 2 piñatas, and that was literally it. It was really disappointing. So basically, and it was expensive as well. Like in Australia, I swear things are like $2 in the party section. Like, it's so cheap. So basically, I got him some balloons. They didn't really have any confetti. They only had confetti for balloons. It was really weird. Anyways, a bit disappointing. So I went to the lolly aisle and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna like cover the place in lollies. Like, we don't even eat lollies here. Like, it's not really our vibe. Like, we're more like, if we go for like a little dessert treat thing, it's like, let's get an ice cream, you know. But like lollies, like, we're not really big on lollies. But I was like, you know, party vibe, like bring him back to his childhood. I don't know. I ended up getting some lollies that are like really French, and he was like very grateful for that. So I was like, yeah, I knew that. Not. Anyways, I ended up like, yeah, just like putting lollies everywhere. I made like a little pathway from like the bedroom door to like his gift on the table, which is very cute. I'm giving you some good ideas, guys. It was cute. And then I made crepes. Definitely not a great idea because we didn't have normal flour. We had this like random flour. I don't even know what it's called in English. I don't know. It's like wholemeal flour, but it's not wholemeal flour because it's actually not even like very glutinous. I don't know. My boyfriend was saying like it's like not like flour. It's like similar, but it's not flour. It's not wheat. I was like, oh, that's great. Cool. We had these like brown, thick crepes. Not very crepe-like. More like a galette, if you know what a galette is. It's like a French savory crepe that you have with like eggs and ham and cheese. But yeah, these were like thick, giving like pancakes, but like not even. It was sad. Anyways, that's fine. We had Nutella with them, so it tasted good still. And of course, un petit café aussi. Yeah, so I'm still recovering from how full I am from that because I ended up just eating them basically just for the Nutella because I was so excited to have Nutella. Anyways, he's at work and I'm here with you guys. And this is just so nice. I just want to like share with you this moment. It's just beautiful. I'm just cozy in our apartment talking to you guys. I've got my trackies on. I've got a hoodie on. I'm just sitting here in a wheelie chair talking in a mic, thinking about all you friends. So on today's episode, I wanted to share with you my life living abroad and basically nut it down to my expectations and also I think the public's expectations, like generally what people expect living abroad is like. That's what I got versus my reality. And I think it's really important to share with you guys because yeah, one, I don't think I really have shared it because my socials generally paint a beautiful picture of my travels and this glamorous, beautiful, perfect time I'm having, and it's amazing, and it really is. It honestly is. In the scheme of things, it is incredible. But there are some nooks and crannies. There are some ebbs and there are some flows. So we shall commence. So basically, normal, like, yeah, living abroad, I guess you expect this, like, going to this new country, you know, you're going to France, oh, it's going to be amazing, you know, you're going to eat croissants and pain au chocolat, or chocolate croissants is what some of you say. Pain au chocolat or chocolatine, which also some French people say, with espresso, they say here actually, espresso, and that's just weird. I don't know where the X came from, but anyways, we move on. And you see yourself living in one of these like Parisian homes, you know, like in one of those apartments with like a little balcony, and everything's very French aesthetic, like that kind of not dirty French aesthetic, but like, you know, that cute, like vintage, like retro kind of vibes, you know, like minimalistic. You don't have much in your house because everything's so expensive, and you got some candles and you got some red wine and you got some leftover food in the fridge, but not much, you know, this kind of aesthetic. This is what you think your living abroad life looks like. But I'm here to tell you, it does not. Of course, it depends on who you're talking to. Me coming abroad, I came on a working holiday visa, which means, one, I am not a student. I do not get student benefits, including socialism. Wait, that was the wrong word. Socializing. It was yes, which I will talk about later. I also don't get like discounts on things, and I don't get like student accommodation. So this definitely makes things difficult. Basically, I'm going to be open and honest with you guys, because to me it can feel like, oh, have I not done enough? Have I not achieved what I wanted to achieve? But I'm here to share with you that I have achieved everything I wanted to achieve. And even though it wasn't what I expected when I first arrived, I'm glad I came with those expectations, because in some way or another it kind of moved me into what I actually wanted to do, and it made me really like inwardly think about like where I was at in life and like how I wanted to live this moment. So I had to let go of some things and just focus on enjoying the moment being overseas. It's like a huge thing, navigating a whole life for yourself overseas. It's not like a holiday, you know, it's not like I'm going to see people again soon. Nothing's familiar. Everyone speaks another language. There's no family. There's no friends here. Like no one. There's no internationals close by, because like I was on a working holiday visa again. Like I said, like, I wasn't a student, so there was not many internationals that I knew. So my expectations were I would be here, I would be dancing, taking lots of workshops, you know, meeting lots of dancers and kind of networking, and maybe like actually finding some jobs and doing some projects. I would then find an actual job as well, and, you know, work in a French like hospitality or something, do something like this, and earn an income. I thought that I would have learned the language and been fluent in French. Je parle pas beaucoup français. I thought that I would have lots of friends, lots of connections, and I knew homesickness would be a thing. But in the grand scheme of things, I really didn't think too much about it. I was quite happy to leave, to be honest. I was quite happy to go abroad. I was of course nervous. Like if you saw me leading up to that, I was definitely nervous. I was not really sure what I was doing exactly. I had these, you know, these expectations, I guess, but they were not very set in stone. I was I was just happy to also navigate while I was here and just work things out while I was abroad, which I suggest is like one of the best things to do, because one, you don't really go home feeling like you haven't succeeded in what you wanted to do, because honestly, things are a lot harder when you get over here. Like, trust me, it's not as easy said than done. Like, trust me, and I'm about to tell you why. So let's start with dancing. Workshops, expensive. Also, you have to audition for a lot of them. You also, like, there's a lot of admin stuff, which I think dancers forget about. Like, we are also a business. I'm not going to talk about this for too long, because some of you maybe are not dancers. It could be anything though. It could be anything in the arts. It could be even just, trying to like start your career in another country. It's very different. The way that they work around things is very different. Like, for dancers, you must connect, you must network first. Like, you must be known to people. You can't just get a job like that. It's not like a click of a hand. Some people, yes, it is. But for most of us, it's all about networking. It's about who you know and, building connections and going from there. In fact, I came over with the mindset that I would kind of want to do freelancing, just kind of do projects here and there, which I later find out like that is, it's a lot of admin work to do. And I mean, I'm pretty organized, I'm pretty good at admin, but it can destroy the fun in what you're doing. Anyways, so in the scheme of things, I'm very happy with like where I'm at with my networking side of things. I also like discovered what I really want as a dancer. Being over here and kind of not really knowing what I wanted to do, I have like changed like the way that I see it all, and like now I have like such a clear goal in my mind. I'm like, this is actually what I want. It's a beautiful thing to really discover, and sometimes you do have to like leave your familiar area, because you have to look inward and you have to like really search for those answers and discover like what you actually like. What do you like? What do you want to do? So that's been really great. Job. Okay, this was really hard to get. Now, if you get a working holiday visa in a country that does not speak your native language, I highly recommend you have at least an A2 level. A2, you'll understand what I mean if you just search it on Google. Basically, there's A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. C2, I think, is fluent, or maybe after that, it's fluent. I can't remember. Basically, I think I'm sitting at an A2 at the moment. I haven't actually taken the exam yet, but I literally could only say bonjour, au revoir. Oh my gosh, I didn't even say just then. Au revoir. Okay, anyways, I'm not going to talk French right now because now I'm nervous because I know you're all listening to this and you're going to judge me, especially if you're my French friends. I love you. Bisous. So basically, I moved to Lyon because I was in Paris. So I'd been traveling for a month and a half, and I had been in France. My goal was to, at this point, wasn't even about dancing. I was like, that's it. I just need to get a job. Like, I'm running out of money. I have nowhere to sleep. I have this once in a lifetime working holiday visa. Like, I can never use this again. Like, we only get one working holiday visa. And like, once you apply for it, you can never get it again. So I was like, I can't use this up. Like, I can't waste this. So I was in Paris. I was a bit stuck and I was just applying for jobs, and I heard about this place called Au Pair World. It was called Au Pair World. It's really great. This is not an advertisement, but I'm just sharing my experience. That's all. Basically, I just like say I'm a traveler, like I'm looking for a job for however months I'm looking for. I said 3 months, and families reach out to you. You can reach out to families on like where you want it au pair. Basically, au pair is like you get shelter, you get like a home, like a room or whatever, and you look after their kids, or maybe you do housekeeping, whatever it is. Normally it's looking after kids, and yeah, and maybe you get some pocket money on the side. So it was great. It was like, you know, this is good. So I ended up doing this, and I ended up finding a beautiful family in Lyon. That's why I moved to Lyon. They were actually in a village just outside of the city of Lyon. So I lived with them for 3 months until December last year. So that was great, wonderful experience there. Was on my journey of learning so much about myself and being abroad, and yeah, it was great. It was really great, and they were such a lovely family to me. Love them so much, and I love those boys as well. I had lots of fun with them, talking in French, English. It was great. I was teaching them English and they were teaching me French. Can't say that we both came out fluent in the other's language, but we definitely made progress. So yes, after that, then I ended up coming into the city, moved in with my partner, and was trying to find a job here. Was very hard because I just did not speak the language. And so like my resume, I put in French, but like at the bottom of it, I had to say like I spoke English and I only spoke a little bit of French. And like there's some English pubs I applied for, but they had already had all of their jobs taken. I also don't have a lot of experience in bar stuff. I'm also like waitress, like hostess kind of girl. Host? Yeah, hosting, like, yeah. Anyways, that was very difficult. It was a difficult time for me, actually. It was like the beginning of this year. It was the winter as well, so I had a bit of the winter blues. However, like, don't get me wrong, the winter here is so much more beautiful than in Australia. Like, people are actually happy that it's winter. People love dressing up in the winter. Like, the fashion is incredible here. Like, I was just like, I don't know what to wear because like I just didn't understand the fashion, and I was just like wearing jacket and like pants, and I was like, I I just want to wear skirts and dresses and all these nice things, and this is so boring. And anyways, I grew to love it, and yeah, I ended up having snow in Lyon. It was insane. So blessed, very lucky that I got to see that, because that does not happen often. So yes, I was like applying for jobs for like so long. I ended up nearly buying a ticket home back to Australia and just giving up, because I was like, that's it, like I have no money. Like I can't just live here inside every day just applying for jobs. Like I can just go back to Australia, I can enjoy the sun, I can like work and have money and be with family, be with friends. Like I still had no friends at this point, because like one, I had been au pairing, so I'd been with family for 3 months, so I wasn't very close to like the city to like go and socialize. I didn't have a car. It was a bit challenging to get to the city. So yeah, and then when I was in the city, it was winter, it was cold, and like there wasn't really much happening for internationals. I was on a few Facebook pages and nothing really came about there. Anyways, basically very hard to get a job. I ended up getting a job before booking that flight, and that was great. And then didn't like that job. It was actually really bad. It was like in a club, and I just was like, I just don't like working at night. Like I'm just not built for that. I mean, for those of you who are, like, bravo, like honestly, very well done, because I just cannot. And I also just started uni online, so I was like, I just cannot be working until 4 a.m. in the morning. Like that is just not for me. Like I'm a morning person. Even though I've been sleeping in France, I'm literally sleeping until like 11 if I could, but I don't, because I'm a productive girly. Anyways, I quit that after like 2 shifts. I was like, I can't do this. And then, but it did kind of give me hope that, you know, like I got hired somewhere, so like I'm sure somewhere else is gonna like hire me. And yeah, I ended up having like 4 job opportunities within like days. Now, the next thing goes into learning the language. So, of course, by this point, I'm like, oh yeah, I've lived with a French family. Now I'm living with my French boyfriend. Like, I should be speaking fluent French. Nope. They spoke English for me, because I don't understand French. Like, they're not going to speak French to me. So, when I was getting these job opportunities, I was so petrified when my phone rang. My boyfriend was like, yeah, that's great, that's a job opportunity, answer it. And I was like so scared. I was like, no babe, like I cannot do this. Like I can't speak French. I don't know what they're going to say. They're going to like talk really fast in French, and then I'm going to be like, sorry, I speak English, and then they're not going to want to hire me. And I just had this mentality, and it was just such a circle of like, yeah, it was very hard. Anyways, this time I had like these calls, and like I was like, yeah, I've just got to do it. And I would just say bonjour, like, and I was like, oui, c'est Lisa. And yeah, and then we just like have a conversation. And like my boyfriend sometimes was there, and he was just like, I have it on speaker, and he's like miming to me like what they're saying, like, are you available this afternoon for a meeting? Like, and I'm like, are we? And there's like this awkward gap like between like what they're saying to me on the phone, and then like he's like translating it. It's hilarious. Anyways, so funny if someone could film that. Most of the time that happened, actually, he was translating to me while we were talking. So yeah, learning the language has been very difficult. I would also recommend when you move to another country to book those language lessons either in your country before you come, but most preferably, I think it's cheaper in the actual country you're in. However, it's been very expensive here. There have been some free campaigns here and there, but they book out very fast, and like they're within certain periods. You have to make sure you're available in those periods. And yeah, there's some free things, but also those free things, like they don't have a teacher there to like keep you accountable to like finish things, which I kind of like having, because it gives me a bit more pressure and I kind of perform better like that. But yeah, I didn't do any French course here because it was very expensive, and like I said, I didn't have much money. I had finally found a job though. Had a call with someone, had a great call. He'd been to Australia, so like he spoke some English, and he was so nice. And yeah, ended up working in this groovy buvette in like a huge park in Lyon. It was amazing. It's like a central park in the middle of the city. Is insane, and it's like a zoo, and the trees are just beautiful, and everything is just stunning about it. And we worked behind giraffes. It was pretty pretty cool. So that was really great. And like I ended up actually learning the language in that environment because I was put under so much pressure to serve these customers, to do my job, to earn money. And so like I remember my first day, I literally was like, on my trial shift, I said to him, so like, what do you say when you go to the customer? Like, you know, how can I serve you? Like, what can I get you? And he had to tell me, and I was like, that's a bit too hard. Is it an easier way for saying that? Like, and we like had this conversation for like 5 minutes, and I was just trying to practice like one word. I went to my first customer and I was like, bonjour, vous choisi? And they laughed at me, and we all laughed, and I was like, oh my goodness, I totally messed that up. Like, it's like, est-ce que vous avez choisi? Which is, have you chosen? Which is like such a basic thing to say. Like usually you say something nicer. So anyways, I ended up working in this job for 3 months or so. And I learnt the language basically through that. I had lots of conversations with people, with customers, and I actually got to a point where I felt very familiar with it and like listening to it every day. Like I was working like 40 hours a week. So I was listening to it every day for 40 hours, like, and speaking it and just learning, always being like, what's this word? What's pai? It's like straw. I was like, oh, okay. Like the scariest thing is like when little kids come up to you and they ask you something and they're like, they you know, they've gained the courage to come up to you for starters. And then you have to hit them with a, oh, I don't understand. Or like, sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Like, and they speak with like, you know, it's very hard to understand kids because they have like that kid accent. I don't know how to describe it, but it's scary. As soon as the kid starts walking up to me, I'm like, I've got to run. Like, I want to talk to you, trust me, but I promise I won't understand. Anyways, okay, so the next thing, I've been here for like over a year now, and I can like truthfully say now, like I have learnt the language to a speakable level. The best ways that I've learned are literally like, when I'm in that uncomfortable situation of like the pressure is there to like have a conversation, to know what's happening, to know the truth, to understand someone. So it's been in those moments that I've really like learnt better, like when I actually have to speak, basically. So speaking a language is literally life-changing. You cannot learn a language just by doing grammar and workbooks and Duolingo. I'm sorry, like say whatever you want. Duolingo is literally only good to remind you of, you know, some words that you might forget, some names of places or animals, or of what is masculine and feminine. But I'm sorry, I beg to believe that platform you could use to learn a language. It's not. It's just like a good like quick quiz, you know, if you want to like quickly remind yourself of some things. Or if it's introducing you to the language, that's also great too, because it starts very slow. So that's also good. But like when you actually want to start talking and speaking and having conversations and communicating with people, then girl, the only way you're going to do that is by talking to them. Trust me. So that's what working helped me, because I had to talk to customers. They would be like, vous avez un accent? I'm like, oui, je suis Australian. And then they'd ask me questions about Australia, and I'd have to try and like pick words that I know, and I wouldn't know some words, but then I ended up getting the hang of it, and I started understanding the full sentences, and it just happens like that. Your brain is so clever. Like it's so smart. It's like babies. Like how do they learn a language? It's the same way, you know, like you don't have to always link words to English. It's just sometimes it just makes sense in that language and no other language. So yeah, and then now like I've been having small conversations with my partner because I'm like, oh, okay, so like I can speak in the present, but I really struggle to speak in the past and the future. And so like we just have a moment like at dinner time or like after our day of work, and we talk about our day, what we did, what we want to do tomorrow, and that helps me to like use those tense past and future. Yeah, that's been really great actually. So your girl can speak a little bit of French now. yeah, I just hope I don't lose it when I go to Australia. I actually go to Australia very soon, fun fact, just for a few months before coming back. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to talk about was friends and connections, which I briefly spoke about at the start when I said I wasn't a student, because this is probably the biggest misbelief people have when traveling overseas. And maybe I was just bad at it. Maybe people don't have this experience. I've talked to some people who've had this experience though. But like, if you come on a working holiday visa into a country where they don't speak your language, it's going to be very hard for you to connect with people if you do not have a job, or you do not have some kind of social club, some kind of thing you go to. Like, I know friends who didn't have anything, but then they went to like a French course. They did a French course for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and they made friends there. So then they had friends to go and explore Lyon with and do things with. Other people, like myself, would just like post on a Facebook group, like expats in Lyon, English speaking expats in Lyon, and we would like go to a museum or something together. I never really connected with people through there. I connected with maybe some, like one girl in particular I did, because she's like Australian. Love ya, Maya. Proud of ya. She also did the working holiday visa thing and she killed it. But yes, I would say those are your two options. But there's really not much else, because like I only found out this year actually they hold these international Erasmus parties. Erasmus is like the European thing where like students from around Europe go to different European countries, and it's like this agreement, and it's called Erasmus, and they're basically it's an international exchange agreement. And so they hold a lot of parties for that, and actually this year I went to some. So yeah, I only found out that I could go recently, because I am technically, I'm a student, and I'm a student in Australia, but like I'm also here dancing at a school, so I kind of, so if you're doing something in the country that you're at, you can probably work a way around it. You can even just talk to admins of those kind of groups. And I just spoke to them. I said, hey, like I'm not in like an actual international, like an exchange student or anything. Anyways, it's also like hard to make friends when you're au pairing as well. Like I know a lot of people want to go overseas and they want to au pair, but like truth be told, like it can be a very lonely adventure. Au pairing, like it's great. I did like a 30-day of dance challenge, and it was great. Like I really stepped deeply into that, and that was great for my mental health and just feeling refreshed and processing things and healing and stuff. But like for connecting with people, socializing, it's not great. Like it depends on as well, like how much time you have to spend with the family and like how far away you are from social activity. Like I was quite far away. Yeah, it was a bit more challenging for me. But like, I mean, I'm not the only one. I know there's lots of people out there who have the same thing. So I'm just sharing the truth of what living abroad looks like. So yes, au pair. And then yes, if you're not a student, if you are a student, that's great. Like that's usually what you see online. And I feel like living abroad always gives that kind of vibe, because people are usually students. They go abroad because they want to study in Paris, or they want to study in, I don't know, somewhere. Usually it has that kind of glamour attached to it. Also, like being a student can have financial difficulties there as well, but you kind of need like parents or people to be involved there unless you have a hell of a lot of savings, because there's also rules on how much you can earn as a student when you're in another country, and it's really, it's not much. Also depends what country you're in. Being a student is great because you meet internationals everywhere you go. And I know a lot of students who even get sick of it. They're like, I just want to meet French people. Like I met some people the other night and they were like, do you have French friends? I was like, yeah, that's all I have. Like I don't have any international friends at the moment. Like I have had some international friends along my journey, but they tend to like leave because they're only here for a short time for the exchange program or whatever. But yeah, like it's been nice. I've made some like friends through like my partner and like met people from there, and built some beautiful little friendships with some French gals. it's so cute here. They say girlfriends, like us. We say like my girlfriends. They say mekopin. I think it's mekopin. Yeah. So again, like this is just my experience, by the way. Like I'm not saying anything is the way to go or not the way to go. This is just, I'm just sharing my experience, my thoughts, what worked well for me, what didn't, because of, the resources I had and what I was doing and stuff. So yes, socially was definitely challenging at times. Summer's always better though, because there's always more events happening. And now that I know that I can involve myself in international student parties and stuff like that happen in bars and stuff, I can meet people, and it's been better. Also, just having the confidence to just book those things and put in the effort as well. Like it requires a lot of effort when you're overseas. Like you're like, oh, like, you know, they can come to me, you know, like I gave them my contact already, like just wait for them to message me, or like, no, message them first, like make the move, like just go for it, because everyone's always getting contacts from everyone. So it's like, it can be overwhelming to message everyone, so that people aren't going to always message you first. And sometimes you need to message them, and sometimes you need to like actually be direct and be like, hey, let's hang out Monday afternoon, let's grab a drink by the water. Like you have to be direct sometimes, especially like around our age group. I feel like we're so like, you know, so chill, you know, like we don't like to plan things. We're just like, go with the flow. Like, you know, are you free tonight? Great. Like I love those kind of friends who are like that. But at the same time, I do have a schedule, and I like having a schedule. I like knowing Thursday night, I'm having girls' night. We're going to a restaurant. It's going to be nice, bougie. I'm looking forward to that. Friday night, I have a date with my boyfriend. Like I like to have things planned to look forward to, etc., etc. Also helps me during the day to like get more done, because I'm like, no, I have to finish by 6 p.m. because I actually have to go out, you know? So anyways, putting in effort. Like I was so exhausted of texting people. I was like, I'm just so tired of this. Like it's so exhausting, like trying to like, and sometimes you just have to like read the situation. Like I have had situations with people overseas who I assumed we would get on really well, because we both spoke English and, you know, had similar backgrounds, and we just didn't. We did not vibe, and it was actually like really hard for me at first, because I was like, why? Like, come on, like, why are we not like, this is not working? Like I'm putting in so much effort right now. And sometimes you just have to let those ones go, you know, like let another one blossom. And honestly, since then, I've had some really beautiful friendships with people, and people who are like so much like me as well. Like I've found people who are in the performing arts, they're creatives, you know, like I love it. It's been great. I found some entrepreneurs, and like, so it's good. Just, pick and choose, but also like be open to whatever at the start. Like when you move abroad, just be open, hang out with as much people as you can, and just try and get a sense of where you feel you belong best. You know, what crowd do you want to be associated with? And I feel like I'm grateful though, in a way, for that situation. Like I have made some really beautiful friendships and some really beautiful connections with people like who are French, and like I've been able to like go on little holidays or trips with those people who are from this area, and who can give me like the real like cultural experience, and I'm learning about the culture and the way that they think about things, and their belief systems, and like the traditions they have. And it's really been beautiful to like actually make those like just natural relationships with people. And again, I made friends at work as well. Work is another great place to make friends, but as I said, like it took me a while to get a job. So depending on that situation, if you know your language, you get a job, great. You will definitely make some beautiful friendships there, some great connections. And that kind of brings me into like my last little topic on like homesick. Homesick is definitely a concept we all have heard, and we feel like we know what it is. I'm actually going to read you some things that I wrote in and amongst when I was feeling this extreme like homesickness, and kind of give you a bit of a picture of like the kind of feeling it brings you, which is like, I think it's important to kind of feel these emotions and actually be in this space of, being separated from everything familiar. So I said it's like the absence of a drug. It's like having this like addiction and just wanting and always like relying on this to give them, a sense of hope, belief in themselves, a sense to keep going and to achieve things and to enjoy and have a good time. And then that's taken away, and it leaves you shaky, it leaves you anxious and frustrated and sad and never fully satisfied. It makes you feel depressed or empty. It's like this thing that you've always had is just ripped away from you all of a sudden, and you're like, there is actually no access to this right now. It's like severe FOMO is what I wrote. It's like this itch to be somewhere that is completely out of reach to you. It's like a child missing their mother. It's like, that place of refuge and safety, soft warmth, love, acceptance, being supported, understood, listened to, comforted. And home is whatever home is to you. I'm not saying it has to be family. Some people, maybe it's not the case, like those things that I just read out are things I associate to that feeling of being home. Feeling like constant feeling of belonging somewhere else, but never really finding it, like a place that doesn't exist. This like state of in-betweenness, which is kind of like my whole podcast is going to be about this kind of state and lingering in this in-betweenness of navigating things. Because it's like a big thing that I guess I've learned in my travels. And I guess being homesick was something that I guess this idea stemmed from, of of rediscovering what is home for you, because you're always going to be, life is always changing. You're never going to be just staying in the same spot. Of course, depends on people's lifestyles, on their careers, but for me, I don't see my life staying in one spot for the next 5 years. I'm going to be moving, I'm going to be changing, I'm going to be evolving, my career is going to be developing, I'm going to be changing paths, like whatever it is, And it's just so important to actually, have this moment in your life of really being where is home actually? And actually realizing that, home is maybe just within yourself, maybe it's just within me, and actually I can take it wherever I want. And for me, that's been my revelation. And I'm just starting to actually accept this state of in-betweenness, of not really being there or here. And this idea of something I always felt as well was they say there that I belong here, and here they say I belong over there. It's like in Australia, they say I belong in France right now because that's where I am. That's where my life is right now. I'm not saying people say this, but you know what I mean? And here they say you're Australian, so your life belongs in Australia. It's like this idea that I feel, and it's and it's like this, not really belonging anywhere physically. And it's you kind of forced to really make yourself feel belong here in the present moment, and accept this moment fully and wholeheartedly and with love and kindness. And that's really helped me to I feel at home now. I feel at home here. And I'm sure when I go back to Australia, it's going to be different. Things will have evolved. People will have changed. But I hope to bring that same feeling of that homey feeling with me, because I've been able to create that homey feeling here abroad, and I've only been here for a year. I lived in Australia for 20 years of my life, and within a year I was able to still find that beautiful, warm place of safety and refuge within myself, that place of home. And that's been a highlight, I guess, of my whole trip. That is something I did not expect. That is something that I ended up having to find, and it's been a beautiful realization that I've had that I wanted to share with you guys. So that's all I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for listening to me share my expectations and my reality of living abroad. So have a great week, and I hope to see you all next Wednesday. Thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you're feeling a little less alone navigating through your 20s. So if you like today's episode and you don't want to miss the surprises I have in store for you, then hit the subscribe button. Also, let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions or any topic requests, I'd be thrilled to hear from you. And don't worry, I do reply. That's all for today. I hope to see you all next week. Bisous!